everyone, it's Jackie at Spare Room Studio and I'm back today with my completed pages for May 2024. I can't believe how quickly this year is going. I did have a very busy month. I got a lot of pages completed and I worked in around 15 different books and completed approximately 39 pages. Some of them were whips that I finished, but to do numbers, I actually completed about 39 pages. So I did kick off the month with this one. It is Rhapsody in Het Bos by Kanoko Agusa. Not sure how to pronounce that correctly, but I'm sure most of you will know what book I'm talking about. So I worked in Derwent Inktense pencils and Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils for this one, and tried to keep a fairly loose watercolory look with the Inktense, and it's worked pretty well for that one. Now I will try and lift this up and show you some of the details. It's a bit hard to set up for this one because the books are all such varying sizes and I do have some double spreads, but we'll do the best that we can with it. So that one was Rhapsody in Het Bos. The next one is Yururi Sketch Mouse or Travel Sketch. I've seen it translated into various names by Makiko Inatomi. And please excuse my really scraggy post-it notes here with very rough notes that I've put on there. I started off the month forgetting to write everything down, so some of them I have forgotten a little bit what I might have used. This one was a work in progress and I completed it, so I think I used Derwent Inktense, I know for sure, and it may have been Artex or Faber-Castell Black Edition coloured pencils with it. It could have even been both, I'm not entirely sure with that one. What happens is that I have very limited space for working at the moment and my materials are all packed away in baskets on top of a very tall wardrobe. And so what I do is get down a few supplies at a time, and then when I've worked in a few books doing lots of pages with them, they get swapped over for something different. So you will see that there is a bit of a trend that I will do several pages using similar things and then change. So this next one is Derwent Inktense with Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils. And again, I was trying very much for that watercolour effect with the Inktense. I like the vibrant colours and so on with the Inktense, but I do still try to get that very much watery watercolour effect with them rather than too solid. I do like to sort of mix it up a little bit. So I'm really quite happy with the way that turned out. In Australia we're just going into winter, so I was very much into all the autumn pages in May. And this one is Derwent Inktense with Artex and Prismacolor pencils. And again, I'm really happy with the way that this one has turned out. I love those colours, they've worked really well and I enjoy using them. And this book is really cute. It works quite well with the water medium, the water-based pencils, so yeah, that one's Yururi. Next I have Nice Little Town Mouse Collection books 4 to 11, and this was a buddy colour with Candace at Happy Catastrophe. And I have to apologise, Candace, and anyone that I do buddy colours with, I haven't actually worked out yet how to overlay photographs and all that sort of thing, so the best I can do is tag you in the description and hope that people will come by and check your beautiful pages out as well. So this one I used Ohuhu markers and Crayola pencils with white acrylic paint pen. And the great thing about this page was that Candace and I sort of back and forwarded a little bit in the messages, and we weren't entirely sure whether this was meant to be an interior of the mermouse's home, or whether she was in the exterior of the home, or whether that was a porch or what was going on. And it was funny because I actually went into it thinking it was an interior, and she coloured hers as the exterior, as if this is a little porch area. So it was really interesting, and I really love it when you do a buddy colour and you both interpret it very differently. It's a lot of fun to see how differently the same image can look when you approach it in different ways. So thanks again, Candice. I really enjoyed doing this. Please pop over to her channel, which is Happy Catastrophe, if you don't already follow her, and she's also on Instagram. So that was the only one in this book by Tatiana Bergama-Stolova. Next I have Mythographic Cosmic Spirit, and in this one I did only one page this month, and it was this one for the zodiac season of Taurus, and I did this for the hashtag my goodness, I can't remember. I'll put it in the description, and if you're interested in going onto Instagram, you can check out all the others that have done their Taurus pictures. And I used Ohuhu alcohol markers, Crayola pencils, and Sakura Jelly Roll glaze on this one. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. I think there's also a bit of metallic there by the look of it on the stars. So there is some glaze on the crystals and metallic on the stars there, a little bit up there as well. And just playing around on that background with alcohol markers and using the colourless blender to create some texture and some variation there in the colour. And I'm really happy with the way that that one turned out as well. Not sure why I went for that colour scheme, but I think I'd seen some images of black balls with the turquoisey blue in it, and so once that was done, I did the rest of the page to go with that. So that one is Mythographic Cosmic Spirit by Fabiana Attanasio. Next I have A Million Sea Creatures by Lulu Mayo, and I got quite a few mermaid themed pages done this month. And this one is Derwent Inktense pencils with Crayola coloured pencils. And this one was fun to do because I did get that interesting effect there with my Inktense pencil. And it worked quite well, and I don't think I had any bleed through on that one, no. Maybe a little bit up there, a bit of shadowing. Because what I did was when this was all wet here, I used the white Inktense pencil to draw those little sort of bubbles in there and get the texture. And where I've worked into the wet paper, it's pushed the pigment through, I think, more than anything. So I was quite happy with that one as well. I think I've enjoyed all my pages this month. I don't think there's anything that I'm actually disappointed in. It was a good month for colouring. So this one is Story of Precious Cats by Nelko Nico. And this page was already done. I had completed that last month. And so I did the adjoining page this month. And that is the adjoining page there. This is one of the books that's going to be very difficult to show you the whole thing. And I used Derwent Inktense pencils, Crayola and Artex pencils, white acrylic paint pen, and I think there's quite a bit of metallic Sakura Jelly Roll metallic gel pen in there too for some little extra details. and I really enjoyed doing that one as well, and it looks really great as a double spread. It's a bit hard to tell on here the way that I have to set it up for doing this filming, but there is a photograph of the double spread on Instagram if you're interested in having a look at that. And I also did this page for autumn, Derwent Inktense pencils with Crayola pencil, and no added extra on there at all. That's just the two different supplies. I've preserved the white of the paper on all the grapes there. I haven't used any acrylic paint pen or anything, that's just leaving the highlights. And I'm really quite happy with the way that turned out as well. The Derwent Inktense pencils do work well on this paper as well. You don't really want to saturate it too much. I didn't have any bleed through there either. But if you use it quite subtly, it works out quite well. So that's a nice little book. Now, I almost thought I should have renamed May, Manga May or Camilla May or something for a hashtag, because I got an awful lot of pages done in this book this month. So, as you can tell by all those ratty post-it notes. So this one here is Derwent Inktense with Sakura Glaze pen. And I've done a lot of splattering and working very much wet into wet with that one. So that one looks quite good. This one here, I really like the way this one turned out. It's a bit of a different colour palette for me, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's Derwent Inktense pencils with Crazy Art markers, which were new to me, Sakura gold and silver metallic pens. And you can see the bit of the sheen there from the metallic. But I wanted to go for quite a limited colour palette, given that that background was so busy, and I really enjoyed doing that. It was actually very pleasant to sit and colour that background, so I enjoyed that one. Next one is Derwent Inktense pencils with Crazy Art pencils, and they were new to me as well this month, and she's rather cute. I really like the way the colours have worked on that one as well. And I went for leaving quite a bit of texture in that background. I didn't want a fully blended background on that one. And I've layered up a lot of pencil here, which you can tell it has actually created a bit of a textured look, which kind of suits the fact that she's wearing that bear suit. So I quite enjoyed that one as well. Oh, I've missed one here already. This one was Crazy Art pencils and Derwent Inktense pencils with Jelly Roll Glaze, which you can see is there on those crosses, and it's shiny. And this, I think this was the first one that I actually tried the Crazy Art pencils, yeah. And I've worked into some damp paper there with the Inktense pencil to get some sort of saturated, textured looking effect there. And I do like those pencils, but I don't know that I would recommend them over some other budget supplies. They are crumbling a bit when I'm sharpening them, so that's disappointing, because the colours and everything else are really nice. They're quite pleasant to work with. It's just that they're not sharpening very well. So this is a double spread Derwent Inktense pencils with Crayola and Crazy Art pencils. So very much budget range coloured pencils on this one over the Derwent Inktense base. And the background, I have got no pencil over that at all, I don't think. That's just all Derwent Inktense pencils, worked very much in a loose watercolour wash way. So it's a little bit of a closer look for some of the colours and the detail. Again, that is on Instagram if you would like to see the photograph of the double spread. It is very difficult to get these big books onto my screen at the moment without keep moving things around. And the next one is water-based brush markers only. And I was playing about there with getting the watercolour effects in the background. And this is a very, very different sort of look for me again with the colours. And this is a double spread Inktense pencils with Crazy Art and Crayola pencil. Again, hard to show this one, but I've done lots of splattering, lots of wet in wet type of techniques with the Derwent Inktense. I did use quite a bit of water there. You can see that in that side. And I find, I like the Crayola coloured pencil, and along with the Crazy Art, they worked really well together, and that just created such a vibrant effect altogether. That was something that I really, really enjoy. So this one here is water-based brush markers with Brute Funa pencils. I actually bought the 72 set of portrait colours by Brute Funa, and they've got some different greens and purples and other colours in there as well, so I used those on this page with the water-based brush marker for the background, very much trying for that watercolour wash look, lots of bleeding. I really do quite like the way that they have bled there. It worked quite well. So that is how that page turned out. And they're all on the wrong side of the book. And this one is Derwent Inktense pencils with Crayola pencils, and I think I may have actually coloured this one when I was talking about the Faves 2024 hashtag video. I'm not 100% sure. So that's worked quite well as well. This month I really did sort of focus on playing with these washy, splattered watercolour type effects. So that was all the pages out of Pop Manga Beauties and Beasties by Camilla Derrico. Next I have Pop Manga Mermaids and Other Sea Creatures by Camilla Derrico. And I had started, the page on the left was a whip that I completed. And then I did this page here, which is Inktense, Derwent Inktense pencils and different water-based markers. And I just really liked the white background, decided that I didn't need to do any more to that background because I just liked the way the colours on this one worked. I wanted to sort of make the most of looking at all those different effects, and I felt like a background would maybe detract from that a little bit too much. So that's how that double page looked. This one is Derwent Inktense and Jelly Roll Glaze. And that's Sakura Jelly Roll Glaze. No eyes and a little tiny bit on the lips maybe. But you can see there again that I was very much wanting to experiment with that watery look with the Inktense. And there's also a bit of gold metallic there, you can see, just shining every now and again. So she turned out really pretty. I really like those colours. This one here was markers, water-based markers, so there was various brands, and the pencils were Artex. I've used Jelly Roll Glaze and Metallic. So you can see that metallic there on her crown. I think there's a little bit of glaze here on the edge of the, what are they called? The suckers on the tentacles. And so, again, I feel like when these are quite busy backgrounds that keeping it simple like this is enough. And it, you know, if you're not careful, you can detract from that image by doing a little bit too much. Now, this was Derwent Inktense pencils with Crayola pencils. And there are some great watercolour, watery blends and washes and so on there. Lots of metallic sparkling there. Drop some quite undiluted pigment into there. Great sort of bleeding. I really like the way that that one turned out. The colour scheme as well, I really enjoyed. And this one is Derwent Inktense Sakura Jelly Roll Glaze Pens. So the Jelly Roll have been used for all the little, well, not all of them, but some of the hearts. Not all of them. And the plan for that one was that I've used, you know, pink over this side to tie in with her, and the green and blue here to tie in with him. And I didn't want to do a whole background, so I felt like just doing a diagonal splash of colour to suggest the water. And I feel like, again, that was enough. If I'd have covered the whole background, it might have been a bit too much. So, happy with that one too. This one is Derwent Inktense with Crayola pencils, and very, very simply done, this one. It was pretty much the Derwent Inktense everywhere, and then at the end I just used a little bit of coloured pencil just to come in and deepen some colour and put a little bit of detail in. Very, very muted palette. And Camilla had drawn it so that it looked like there was ink splashes everywhere, and I decided to just sort of suggest that that might be some sort of sepia rust coloured splashes to go with what's happening here with the octopus. And that was great practice for doing the rusty metals. I really enjoyed that one as well. And, oh, and we've got one here. I don't think I've actually put this one on Instagram. This one might be where my numbers went astray because I didn't actually take a photo of it. Derwent Inktense pencils and Artex pencils. As you can see, for mermaid, I really did play with the mermaid theme and lots of water theme and practicing with the watercolour wash or Inktense wash, bleeding and watery sort of effects. So that is it for mermaids and other sea creatures. So I hope this isn't dragging on too long. Pop Manga Dragons and Other Magically Mythical Creatures by Camilla Derrico, and I did this page here on the left as a colour and chat and a bit of a demonstration of how I work with water-based brush markers. And again, I was sort of just showing some different techniques for how to blend the lines out of markers, but I also wanted to show you that leaving texture and unblended areas can be fun as well, so you don't have to try to get rid of all of those lines. And also you can see there with the flower background, I've gone for a really, really loose interpretation with the colour, leaving lots of white, not blending it, but leaving sort of very blocky, bits of colour. Just to sort of show that, you can still create a fun page without having everything blended within an inch of its life. And it is okay to leave some texture. But they were a bit of fun. Quite enjoyed doing that one as well. I have a nice time when I colour in Camilla Derrico books. I find them to be, pretty much stress-free colouring. This one here is Little Woods, an adult colouring book by Leslie Smitheringale. And Leslie is based here in Australia, I believe. So I do like to support Australian artists. I used Derwent Inktense and Artex pencils, and I have got a lot of warping and cockling there. You can see I've started the other version of that one behind. You get some of the images have a black nighttime sort of background, and the others are left white for you to colour. So, and this cute little bunny, and I've also used a lot of white acrylic paint pen there in his fur or her fur, and playing around with the Inktense there for the night sky in the background. If you can hear Hamish in the background, Hamish is my new member of the family. He's a rescue shelter dog, so I'm letting him come and go as he pleases at the moment while he settles in. And when he can hear me and see me, he's a lot happier. Okay, so that one was Little Woods by Leslie Smitheringale. And then this one was a Mother's Day present, and it is called Mind Waves Calming Colouring. This is the Australiana edition. And I coloured this one while doing a colour and chat. And this is water-based brush tip markers. And I used a bit of water on there as well. And very, very sort of graphic, simple design, but that ended up looking quite nice when it was coloured, and I really enjoyed it. It was a very relaxing colour. Beautiful Blooms, a colouring book of flowers. This one doesn't have an artist either. It's a Shutterstock book. I did a couple of colour and chats where I talked about various things, and these books were used. So I've actually used Crazy Art markers and pencils. I talk about in the video that this is very much going to become like a working artist sketchbook where I test lots of things out, and it's not meant to be perfect masterpieces, hence my scribbled notes. And this one, I think it was one of the first times I used the Crazy Art markers, and then I put some water on it to see if it would dissolve, and I got those really cool looking lines there, which was totally unintentional, but I enjoyed it anyway, so that was good. So testing out the Crazy Art markers and the pencils on that one. And this one is Crazy Art markers and very minimal coloured pencil. And I used a water brush and blended some of that colour as well. And that was, again, I've made myself some notes there. And that one did have quite a lot of bleed through. Doesn't matter though, because that's a wallpaper background, so it doesn't matter if you do get bleed through there. So this book is going to be a playbook, a test book. So these aren't all meant to be finished pages, but I really like the way that these ones turned out, so I added them to my Instagram account. That was another little play with the water-based brush tip markers. So I think I will come back to that at some stage, but it was just a test play page. Okay, so Beautiful Blooms. Mythographic Wild Winter by Joseph Kattenbang, and I really do like this book. Thanks to Jody at JI Colorist here on YouTube and Instagram. She had a hashtag this month for working in mythographic books and getting some mythographic pages completed. So I do have another one that I have done as a buddy colour, but I haven't shared that with my buddy yet, so I won't show you. This one is Ohuhu alcohol markers, Artex and Prismacolor pencils, Sakura Jelly Roll, glaze and metallic pens, and really, really happy with the way that one turned out. The background was an experiment with colourless blender with the alcohol markers, and it was all patchy, so I decided to make a feature of the patchiness and exploit it, and then come back with the same marker again and put some extra colour in with the same colour marker, but just a second layer of it. And that's the way that it turned out, and I'm really, really pleased with that. It's really pretty page. So I had a little bit of a fish theme going on too, with the mermaids and the water. Mythographic Magical Earth by Joseph Kattenbang, and this one was Faber-Castell connector pens and Crayola pencils, and I think I had started a little bit of it last month but finished it very early in May. I think I had put a little tiny bit of the connector pens down on the background and then lost my way a little bit with the colour. I found this colour that I had used a little bit difficult to know what to put with it. And I think then I brought in the blue and it sort of made enough variation, and I decided to just use the same sort of family of colours for the background then. It's quite a detailed, involved composition. It was a little bit difficult to make sense of some of it. Same with this one. They're beautiful images, but very difficult to make sense of at times. This one was Faber-Castell connector pens, Artex pencils and Brute Funa pencils. And no sort of shiny glaze or anything else going on with this one. Just kept it very simple with the mark base and then the coloured pencil over the top. And once again I struggled a bit with the colours. I had done the house and had all this sort of yellow, orange and brown going on. Really didn't know what else to do with it, so with the background I just decided to make it sort of like, you know, sunrise colours without it actually looking like a proper sunrise. And this is a recent finish. I think I only did this a couple of days ago. This is Ohuhu alcohol markers, Artex pencils and Prismacolor pencils, and that is it. There's no sparkly shiny bits on this one either. And again, I had to go with that background using a colourless blender on the patchy areas, but my colourless blender was quite dry as well, so it hasn't worked as good as what the other one had, but it's still quite pleasing. And that colour palette really, really worked well. Well, in my opinion, I enjoyed it. This colour was chosen purely because all my lighter blues or turquoisey blues are all starting to dry up, and that was why that colour got chosen. And it actually ended up working really well with those pinks and peach tones and the orange and yellow. I just really like the way that looks. So that one was Mythographic Magical Earth by Joseph Cattenbang. And the lucky last is the Hidden Spirits of the Enchanted Forest by Forest Diver. Sorry for the glare there. And this one I have done water-based markers and Artex pencils. And again, very much influenced by autumn and the autumn colour palette. Really, really do like these sorts of colours myself personally. And I played with using the water with the water-based markers, so I just used one of those water brush pens and then a little bit of pencil over the top of it all to finish it off. And I think I've used a tiny bit of white acrylic paint pen just to put those highlights back on the lips and in the eyes. So that one, you can see again, I'm experimenting with this looseness and not actually feeling like I have to colour every speck of the paper with my marker or pencil, but actually leaving a bit of white space happening. I actually quite like that. I didn't feel like it needed to be a highly blended image either for that one. You know, a bit of texture was good. So there you go, that was my month of May for colouring. I've got a couple of pages that I've got underway. I've been trying some different suppliers out, so you may see some of those get finished in June. I'm really not sure. I don't have a lot of plans for June because I did adopt Hamish the rescue, so my time is being split between settling him in and colouring at the moment, so we'll see how many I manage to complete for June. So thank you for joining me. Thanks for looking at all my finished pages. If you would like to see anything in greater detail, they are mostly on Instagram, and you can also drop me a message in the comments if you would like to see anything in more detail or explained in detail. Let me know if there are any particular types of demos that you would like to see, and if I can create that for you, I certainly will. So thank you all again for your support this month. It's been really great reading all your comments, and I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.